Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? Welcome back to the One Man Low Council, and welcome to episode 184 of the Welcome to Asgard podcast. And tonight, we have a lot to talk about because, of course, Mulan is a film that came out and is a film that is now getting Disney in even more trouble than it was already in because at the end, they give a shout out to a group connected directly to the Communist Party of China, and specifically to an area where not too far away, there happen to be concentration camps. That's right, you heard me correctly. So obviously, Disney deserves to be called out for this, and this is something that I think is very important, and it does not change my opinion of the movie because the movie still sucks, and now it just sucks even more. But hope everyone is doing well. Very sorry indeed. I'm trying to get Heimdall up and running. For some reason, Heimdall is still having issues, basically because YouTube decided to start changing everything as far as how one streams. It means the bots are not nearly as straightforward as they used to be. And so now I need to re-sign in to all of this account. Do I need to do this every single stream? Because if this is the case, I am not the fan. If this is the case, I am not the fan. Why should I reconnect every single time? It just does not make any sense. It drives me so crazy. It drives me so very crazy. Now I have to create YouTube events, and then I can live stream because, again, YouTube completely sucks. But anyway, I tried signing in, signing out, so hopefully it does something. It doesn't look like it is. Doesn't look like it's connecting to the right chat. I really have no idea why, so I'm just going to get rid of this bot right here because it just doesn't seem to be working for any reason whatsoever, and it's very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating indeed. YouTube, why do you suck so much? By the way, YouTube in hot water as well because YouTube decided to give a strike to a major channel. If anyone follows the channel, Markiplier, very, very funny guy, hilarious. I've been watching him for many years. His channel got hit with a strike for a video he did 4 years ago, a Try Not to Laugh challenge video. And all that it is literally a funny thing that happened, where it's people dressed as SpongeBob and other characters pulling someone out of the car and beating them up, but not really beating them up. It's very obviously fake. It's very obviously meant to be funny. And yet, they've given 2 channels strikes for doing commentary on this video, even though the video can easily be seen just by Googling it, just by going on YouTube search and looking for it. And it's just kind of ridiculous that people like even Markiplier are getting called out for this now and are getting strikes. But luckily, they pissed off someone like Markiplier because Markiplier made a nice video calling out YouTube, calling out their hypocrisy, calling out the fact that they don't implement their rules evenly to everyone and how their system is broken. So it's one of those things where it sucks that he was given a strike, but at the same time, I'm also happy he was given a strike because to me, it means, hey, maybe YouTube will finally start to listen because Lord knows they're not going to listen to the smaller channels like mine. They're not going to listen to even some of the somewhat larger channels like Geeks and Gamers. Maybe they'll listen to someone that has millions and millions of subscribers that could actually make a major dent on their income, make a major dent on their PR. And it would be even better since Markiplier has worked with PewDiePie in the past. If they could somehow get that going, if they could somehow be able, it looks like Heimdall's now up and running, if they could somehow get PewDiePie to make a video on this very topic as well, being one of the most subscribed channels on YouTube, that would be phenomenal. That would be fantastic. But it would be great if for once people actually started to stand up to this garbage. But anyway, enough of that. Now they got Heimdall up and running. Let me check over what's going on over on D-Live. So we got Captain Mr. Roy over there. We got the gay man. Hopefully you're doing okay. We also got Captain Dean Heiss. How is it going, D-Live fam? Let me jump now over to the YouTube world. We got Tina B over there at 628 saying, evening, everyone. Remember, hashtag Mulan Boycott. Hit the like button. Yes, indeed. And if you have a comment or question, as she says, make sure you type Odin questions right here. Right here. This is all you need to do. If you type that word, Odin question, all together, it'll highlight orange on my screen. And it'll let me know you're trying to get my attention. Now, if you are impatient, if you don't want to wait 20 minutes, as it says right there, you might have to wait 20 minutes. Hey, think about super chatting, donating via Streamlabs. Either way is great, but if you don't want to, that's fine too. If you just want to watch and leave a comment every now and then, that's perfect. All that I ask is that you type the word Odin question. Lord Toth, who's a member on the channel, how is it going? Of course, if you remember, you don't have to worry about tagging at all. Orange Hat Reviews, Mulan who? Golden Ration Tag says, good evening, old, and good evening, Bond Hobbit in the chat. GMonkey76 here, HyperNex13 in the chat as well. Orange Eye Reviews, who's a member at 656, says, good evening, how are we all? I have a wee proposition if you don't mind. Would ye consider boycotting Mulan, all of you right now? Howdy, Odin. Well, something tells me, Orange Hat, that everyone already is boycotting Mulan. I think that most people that watch my channel had no plans to watch it originally. And since I reviewed it, they are like, yeah, thank you for confirming the fact that I never want to see this movie. Maybe if I want to waste 2 hours of my life and have a Fire Stick and a VPN, allegedly, maybe then. But in general, nah. I don't think anyone who watches my channel was ever thinking of spending $30 on that nonsense. Lord Toth says, we're finding it on the 7 Seas. Boom. Right there. Right there. Donald Hudson. What's going on, Donald Hudson? It's been too long, man. I miss the times when you were here all the time. I miss you, man. I miss you. Bruce, who's a member on the channel, hail to you. Forever Sci-Fi, hail to you. Zacharot315 is also in the chat. Hail to you, Zacharot315. Let's see. Lord Toe says, go Team Venture in retirement. Sniff. Yes, I've heard of that. I was never much into the Venture Brothers, but I know a lot of people were, and so obviously very sad to hear that news. Yes, Donald Hudson, man, from the old days. Asgardians assemble. It's been so long since I've said that, man. That's why we need people like you around who remember the olden days. Those were the days. Mark Lazarth's in the chat. Zachariah315 says, howdy, howdy. Bruce says, hail. Alice McCarthy, who's a member, how's it going? Hopefully you've not been watching any bad movies recently. Greta Zenner, what's going on, Greta? Greta, make some more videos, all right? I love plugging your channel. Hope you're doing well, Greta. She says, hello, Olden, and everyone. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you here. Soul Assassin, aloha. Aloha to you. Fabled Narrative is in the chat. How's it going? Forever Sci-Fi is a member at 701 says, I've been boycotting Disney, Netflix, the NBA, MLB, NHL, and NFL. I deleted Twitter and stopped using Facebook years ago. Cut the cord years ago as well. It's nice being free of all that. Hey, Forever Sci-Fi. If it works for you, it works for you. Not everyone, I think, is going to be able to do all of those things. But hey, if you can, yeah, why not? Why not? Sometimes it can definitely be very soothing to not have to worry about that nonsense. So good for you, sir. Good for you. Waiting for Nerdrotic Laura. How is it going, my modern Major General? Also, Tina, of course, is the Empress of the Universe. Hyperdark13 tagged to 702. My brother, good to see you. How you doing? Saw your Mulan review. Good stuff as always. Sorry I missed the last stream. Also, I saw your letterbox review of Incendies. Glad you enjoyed it. Yes, that's another thing I want to talk a little bit about tonight is a film called Incendies. It's the first major film that Denis Villeneuve, who you know by now if you watch my channel, I'm a huge fan of. He's my favorite modern director working in Hollywood today. And I have now even had that even more confirmed because of a brilliant film he did back in 2010 called Incendies. Again, one of the first major movies he did. Got him a lot of attention. I believe that film, if I'm not mistaken, got nominated for Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars. Again, it got him on the map. Let me go ahead and try and see if I can pull up some of that general information. So don't post in the chat. All right, don't be like, hey, I found it for you. Don't worry about it. All right? It's all good. Indeed, it was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film of the Year, and that was, of course, the 2011 Oscars for movies that came out in 2010. And for a lot of people that don't know, Incendies was a Canadian film because Denis Villeneuve, obviously, is French. So, yeah, if you could not figure that out from the name Denis Villeneuve, I don't know what else could possibly do so. But now I'm intrigued to see what it lost to that year because it was brilliant. I mean, for a film in a foreign language, especially to be riveting storytelling, not to say that it can't happen, but for someone having to read subtitles, it obviously creates a barrier and it makes it much more difficult in most situations, for me at least, to enjoy it fully. I was so invested in the entire movie, and it's very rare that a foreign language film could do that for me specifically. And it's so good. It really is so damn good. All right, so best documentary, of course. So the winner that year was... oh, wait, hold on. No, that was documentary. I was like, documentary? What's going on here? Let's see. In a Better World won that year. It was up against Beautiful with Javier Bardem. And that was an Inarritu film. He became more famous later on. Dogtooth from Greece. I remember hearing about that film coming out. And then Algeria's Ors la Oloy. Let's see what In a Better World. Let's see. The lives of two Danish families cross each other, and an extraordinary but risky friendship comes into bud. But loneliness, frailty, and sorrow lie in wait. Okay, doesn't sound too political, so it's interesting how that one won, though. And the clear, better, and the one that more people enjoy is clearly Incendies. Incendies has much higher ratings from audiences and critics because guess what? It's a great movie. Highly recommend it. So if you've never seen Incendies, really, really recommend this movie. Again, Canadian. It's foreign language, and it's like foreign film, but it's Canadian. It's right across the border from me up north. This is from the land of Krista and Mark the Cyborg. So it's from far, far away, but it really is fantastic. And again, if you like Denis Villeneuve, who has done films like Enemy and also Prisoners, finally able to pick. I got 3 Denis Villeneuve films because I was like, you know what? I don't own these movies, and I want to because Prisoners is freaking brilliant. Incendies now I know is freaking brilliant. And Enemy, I have a love-hate relationship with this movie because it is very, very, very confusing, but it's also a challenge as well. It's a film that I want to rewatch again, knowing now what I know about the symbolism and the actual meaning of the film itself. But yes, highly recommend Denis Villeneuve. Best modern filmmaker, hands down. Fight me. Laura Toth at 702 is a member. YouTube does suck, but at least it connects all of us. Yay, I know. And that's why I've said, if there was another service out there that actually, enforced their rules evenly, had clear rules, were transparent, and had the same functionality, I would be all there. However, of course, we know that that is not the case. Nothing like that actually exists in the capacity. Because again, DLive's great, and that's why I have my DLive fam, but not everyone's going to be able to handle DLive. DLive is not perfect. DLive also very much has its issues, especially since you can only really stream there and not do any type of daily or monthly videos. Not that I've been doing a whole lot of daily or monthly videos, but hey, I'm busy. And I'm only going to get busier. Grandmaster Yona says, all companies do brag about how much profits they make. Disney says nothing about Mulan, so clearly underperforming. Love it. Yeah, Grandmaster Yoda, it's interesting. If this film was such a success through their DLive experience, through the Disney Plus experience, they would be all over. They would say, oh my gosh, this was the best move ever. We made all this money. I think someone, I know Tina mentioned, and I don't have a source on this, so take it with a grain of salt. Some reports said they made only $6 million in their opening weekend, which you might think, well, $6 million, divide that by 30, that's a lot of people. But in comparison to what they normally would make over a opening weekend, when they're making over $100 million, and even if you take the splits that they have with theaters, that's way more than what they had, even with 100% of the profits, which they would be getting from Disney+. All of this, remember, because they are also releasing the film for free in December. And obviously, there's boycotts all across the world because of the fact that they indeed... Let's see what's going on here. Let's go ahead and skip that. And skip. And let's just skip all of those. There we go. I'm transferring files. Just got in today a brand new... Oh, dropping all my papers. Hate when that happens. But anyway, got a handy-dandy new 4 terabyte Western Digital drive to go into the main PC because I have the 1 terabyte drive that I've now had for ever since I built the computer. It's great. It works perfectly, but the 1 terabyte is just a little bit on the small side, so the 4 terabytes is going to get me through with no problem. It's another of the black drives, which are very, very good. And so I need to replace it at some point. So I was transferring some files over to an external drive, and then I'll be able to install it after the stream, hopefully. But yes, glad to see Disney underperforming and glad to see Mulan underperforming as well. Laura says, if anyone is going to watch Raised by Wolves on HBO Max, make sure you finish episode 1 because it starts slow, but the episode's end was well worth the wait. Ooh, okay. Glad to hear it. Yeah, it's one that I've had some interest in. I remember someone, though, said something about either the way they made it or some of the behind the scenes that was very questionable morally. So I forgot what they said, but I remember someone specifically called that show out for promoting something. So let me know if you notice anything kind of nefarious there for a goody two shoes Catholic boy like myself. All right, let's see. Legit 36. At 705, Tadna says, what I like about Patty Jenkins is that she is competent about female empowerment, but she doesn't let that get to her head and be the only thing shoving agenda she spews. Does not let the only throat shoving agenda she spews. Yeah, I mean, I felt that way about Patty Jenkins after the first Wonder Woman came out. You know, her and obviously Gal Gadot were very clear, saying, no, that we're making a good movie. You know, let's not think of this as I'm a female director. No, I'm a director, right? It was more in that line of thinking. But I feel like now, especially because it's election year, you know, and people, whether they were leading questions or not, she seemed to indicate with other people that some of the characters in the upcoming 84 have inspirations from Trump, who is one of the candidates this year in the United States. I don't like. I think that is petty, and I'm just so sick and tired of politics, modern politics especially, being thrown into movies, being thrown into music, and having all of these things coincide with each other. It's just not good. It's very not good. Not good at all. Soul Assassin says, I'm just testing your vision. Carry on. Yeah, I see it, Soul Assassin. I see it. It pops up orange for me. Donald Hudson says, sorry for popping in and out, working the night shift. Donald Hudson. No worries, good sir. Just glad to see you here. Alice McCarthy says, type in Odin question like this. Also, be wary of chat jumps and use context. Yes, because I fall 20 minutes behind. If you put a comment and you think, oh, Odin's going to see that within a minute, and so he'll understand it. No. So if you provide context, if your comment requires context, of course, it helps me out. It helps me out. And yes, indeed, Mulan was very much a soulless remake. By the way, we have 45 people watching. Thank you for being here. I know Gary went live not too long before I did. I always love when his nooners start 3 hours late. Gary, you can't blame the move either, because this happened before your move. Taking away the time. How dare you? How dare you? I kill you. All right, let us see here. Donald Hudson, I've been boycotting Disney since before it was cool. This is true, Donald Hudson. I was there. General Wingster at 706. Oh, then how dare you? I was looking forward to Mulan and you ruined it with your obviously biased review. I know, General Wingster. I love the trolls that have been attacking me for my review. Either there's people that are defending Disney, and then there's others that are attacking me for seeing the movie, saying, don't you know that they're associated with the Communist Party and you support that? WTF, man. I'm unsubbed. And I'm like, you obviously don't follow me. You obviously don't realize that I have a Fire Stick, allegedly, that has a VPN on it, allegedly. And even if I didn't, you're really going to throw that at someone that clearly from the title is Odin's movie blog? I know it doesn't seem like I have one. I know people question its existence, especially ever since movies stopped coming out, but it's back now. All right, the reviews are coming, surely but slowly. And yet, people call me out for reviewing a movie. And not just for reviewing it, I crapped all over it because it deserved to be crapped on. And that was before we even knew about this direct correlation between this place of concentration camps in China and the company that is listed at the end of Mulan and the credits. Fable Narrative says, no question, just saying hello. Well, hello, Fable Narrative. See, that's how it works. I love when newer people learn how it works. Just makes me happy. So Fable Narrative, welcome to the channel. Glad to see you here. Lord Toe says, all hail the Valkyries and gods that wrench. Absolutely. Hail to Tina especially. Steph should be here pretty soon. Donald Hudson says, miss being here, busy with the COVID-19. Yeah, man, I can only imagine. Hopefully it does indeed slow down quite a bit. But obviously I'd rather people be safe, but also be happy and be able to return to work. Bruce, who's a member, says, if I wanted to watch Mulan, I'd watch the Chinese-made English dub version or the Disney cartoon. Yeah, the cartoon's great. From 1998. Lea Salonga, who was a Broadway actress, did the voice for Mulan singing. By the way, fun fact, Lea Salonga, who did the singing voice for Mulan, was also the singing voice for Jasmine in the a few years earlier film, Aladdin. So, fun fact of the day, the same woman that sings the role of Jasmine sings the role of Mulan. Interesting how Mulan, as an Asian character, guess what? Is sung by an Asian woman. And that was before they were really paying attention to that kind of stuff. They were just trying to get the best voice that fit the part. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But yes, Disney cartoon is fantastic from 98. Very, very fun. And yeah, I saw the very beginning, allegedly, of the Chinese-made English dub version. And opening fight scene was already better. Hypernex13, speaking of Denis Villeneuve, Dune teaser just dropped 6 hours ago. Trailer comes out tomorrow. Gonna see it. Dude, I had no idea that the teaser had dropped. But yes, I plan on seeing the trailer because, as I've said, I love Denis Villeneuve, right? So not only do I have these 3 new movies that just came in the mail on Blu-ray, again, fantastic films. I, of course, also have Blade Runner 2049, which is one of my favorite, more recent movies that he's made. I know not everyone loves it, and it's definitely a film that some people that are fans of the original say, takes too many. Hey, if you break it down objectively, you look at the filmmaking, you look at the technique, it's there. It doesn't mean you have to like it. Again, you don't have to like any of these movies, but no one can deny the craftsmanship that this guy has as a director. Like, he knows how to put images together. I also have Sicario, which is, like, every time I'm remembering that he directed the first Sicario movie, I'm like, God, I forgot how great that movie is. Guy is just so talented. Again, he has not made a bad movie yet. The only film, the film I like least, is this one. And even this one, as confusing as the story is, has all those technical elements on lock. But the fact that his first major film, Incendies, that got nominated for an Oscar, was as good as it was, I was like, dude, this guy is just brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Let's see. Alex McCarthy, who's a member, also tagged me and said, I watched David Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier. It's an oldie but a goodie. Interesting. I've actually never seen that one. Tina B says, Incendies? I've never heard of it. Yes, it's a French film, Tina, and I would recommend it. There are definitely some twists and turns. It's a riveting mystery, an extraordinary film, but it's really great. It tells the story of 2 kids whose mother has just died, and it talks about how they've gotten the letters from the will, but they seem to leave a lot of mysteries because they are asked to find a brother that they never knew and the father that they never knew. And so there's a lot of questions. They're like, wait a minute. I thought this person wasn't alive. I thought this person I didn't even know this person existed. And so it forces them to go back to their mom's home country in the Middle East and to start asking questions and to start digging into her past. And then you find out through flashback scenes too. And it's not in that stereotypical like flash. No, it's a legit scene. And again, long sequences of her, of their mom in her past. And you just find out so much more about her character. So it's a mystery and it unravels in front of you. And it's so compelling. You don't know where the story's going. You don't know exactly what's going to come next. And I think, it's one of those movies that at the end I was like as it was unfolding, I was just like, oh my gosh. It's powerful. Disturbing, but powerful. So yeah, if you like mysteries and you don't mind reading subtitles, Incendies is fantastic. Miss Martin Muses, how's it going, Miss Martin Muses? Glad to see you here. Lord Toad says, of course, Canadian. Yeah, of course it's Canadian. Lord Toad then says, Prisoners is great. Yeah, Prisoners, seriously, is so good. I don't know what else we'll say you on this one. Like, this has Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis. Let's see, Terrence Howard, I'm not a big fan of, but some people like him. Melissa Leo, she's crazy in real life, but she's a great actress. And last but certainly not least, I don't know why his name is last on here. He's more of a supporting character, but still, Paul freaking Dano is in this movie. That's right, Paul freaking Dano. So, again, the cast alone should sell you on it, but also, it's Denis Villeneuve, and he's not made a bad movie yet. General Winkster says, Odin, Canada isn't a real country. Krista and Mark are figments of our imagination. To say Krista is a figment of anyone's imagination creates, I think, even more problems than her being a real person. Tina B says, I don't know if I like Denis Villeneuve. I've never seen any of his stuff. I skipped Blade Runner 2049 because, well, just because. I got busy. Washed my hair and conditioned it. Read a book. Oh, no. Tina, you should watch it. It's a long one, but if you are even somewhat intrigued by the original Blade Runner, the final cut, I would recommend it. Again, just for filmmaking alone. Prisoners, again, if you don't like long movies, this one's 2.5+ hours, but it's a great mystery. Again, unravels, lots of twists and turns. It's great. Incendies is a little over 2 hours long. Enemy might be one of his shorter movies. Yeah, it's an hour and 30 minutes, but it's also a film where it's like, Tina hated a movie like Parasite. Maybe you won't like this one. It has kind of an art house feel to it. it's not as art housey as art house films can be. Like, I'm trying to put it this way. David Fincher, right? Or no, not David Fincher, David Lynch. Right? David Lynch is the director I hate, right? He's the one that did Eraserhead, I think. David Lynch, he is like, to me, the epitome of art house crap. And I hated that movie. This is in a similar vein where there's, okay, weird stuff going on. I'm a little bit confused, but makes a hell of a lot more sense. And also, it's Jake Gyllenhaal. How can you not love Jake Gyllenhaal? But obviously, if I had to recommend any movie to watch first from him, the first Sicario movie is so damn good. Seriously, watch Sicario. The fact that, as I said before, he made a movie about the border and didn't go political. How does that happen in modern Hollywood? Again, this was in the last 10 years, by the way. How does that happen? Great directing. Tina says, yeah, the $6 million over the weekend for Mulan was reported by an entertainment publication that is in the know. But Bill and Ted is doing very well. Yeah, so that's something where I can't wait for actual numbers to come out, if they ever do. I mean, at some point, Disney has to report things, so it'll be interesting to see what numbers we see when that eventually happens. Slice of Neon says, IGN rickrolled me with a Mandalorian Season 2 teaser. Got me good. Did it to my brother, and he threatened to disown me. No. I think didn't they do that a while ago, and it pissed off a lot of people. And I think that anyone who puts out a trailer like that and makes it look really legit, as a major publication, if I was Disney, I'd be like, you can't do that. But hey. Nana Raper is a member, 714. What's going on? Says, if Mulan was good, they wouldn't be releasing it for free in December. It's a fair point. It is definitely a fair point. I think they thought the movie was going to do much better than what it is. They, I think, obviously put all their eggs into the Chinese basket. The problem is that when any company works with China, China takes a major portion of the box office. Only the studios, Disney would only get between maybe 20 to 40% of the total box office of China. So it's already giving up a lot of money to put all of their eggs in the China basket. Add on top of that the boycotts going on in Hong Kong and across the across the East in general. Something tells me that this movie is going to be a huge flop. It needs to make, in general terms, right? In general box office terms, it would need to make around $500 million to break even. Now, the film only cost the film cost around, it cost $200 million, so about $300 million with marketing. Could be more, but let's just be on the fair, more conservative side. It cost at least $300 million for them to produce and to promote the movie, and they're only getting a very small percentage of whatever they make in China, if they make anything in China. And then you have, obviously, their U.S. release, which is mostly Disney+, which, of course, they would get 100% of those profits because they own Disney+, they run it, okay. But if they're only getting $6 million on the opening weekend for that movie, I'm sorry, but I don't see why anyone would want to spend $30 for a film that is getting destroyed by fans. Screw the critics. The critics are shills. The critics are the ones that are still, to this day, defending this movie, even though there are very clear ties to not just China, not just the commies, but also to literal concentration camps in China. Always remind yourself and keep yourself aware, China is not a good country. The people there might be good, but if they allow this type of governance to continue without rising up, I'm sorry, they need to rise up. And I know it's easier said than done. I know. Trust me. I know. But at the end of the day, the only people that can change anything are the people. Because it's not our job as Americans to go over there and free them or to teach them, right? It's up to them to do it. Now, again, the government makes it hard because they cancel all dissidents, they kill dissidents, they do everything they can to try and make sure people stay in the dark on this. But I'm sorry. I know there's enough underground organizations over there to get the word out. Anyway, let's see. Dookie12. What's going on, Dookie12? How's it going? Golden Ration, tagged at 716, says, Wonder Woman is now tainted. Yep. Yes, indeed. Anytime you go Orange Man bad when it's completely unnecessary is not a good thing. It is not very good at all. No, 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 no. All right. Let us see here. Let us see. Oh, I have a lot of comments now. What are we up to? 67 people watching. We jumped up 20 people. Thank you for being here. I know there's a lot of things going on. Whenever Gary's streaming especially, it's like, dude, I want to watch Gary. But thank you for choosing to be here. Please smash the like button if you don't mind. I appreciate it. All right, let me jump over to D-Live, though. It's been a while since I've been over there. Adam and the Clan, what's going on? What is going on? What's going on? ZK-Man says, wait, Odin's movie blog talks about movies? I thought the channel was about NASCAR racing. Unsub, yes. That's about as ridiculous as the real comment was. Now, the person that said they unsubbed, I was like, I don't believe you're real, because I've never seen your channel name until now. So you're not one of my normals, one of my normies that is, commenting on every video, commenting as soon as the video goes live, or going at least to the pinned comment, right? Those are the comments that I get to see more often than not, because, it's impossible for me to keep up with all this stuff. But yeah. Captain High says, just finished the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai. Good show. Love all the callbacks to the movies. Dude, yes. Cobra Kai is fantastic. I was able to watch it when it first was released on not Disney Plus, on YouTube Red, and I loved it. So I'm glad that everyone who still has Netflix has been able to actually watch it now, because it's a great show. It really is. It's probably one of the best TV shows we've gotten in the last 10 years or so. And it's pretty impressive seeing that it kind of pokes fun at modern day woke culture. And I think it's funny how, the kid that was often perceived to be the bad guy in the original Karate Kid movie, played brilliantly by Zabka, has now become the hero that all of us need right now in the world. So, and add on top of that, really great fighting, great use, and kudos to the stunt team working on that series, because the fights look great. The school fight in season 2, holy crap, brilliantly filmed, not a bunch of quick cut nonsense. You get to see the fighting take place, and then kind of the peak of the fight, and anyone that's seen it knows exactly what I'm talking about. The way they filmed it, it just looks so real. You're like, oh, you're just like, oh my God, no, I can't believe it. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it. I know it's been out for a while now, but it's a really good show. I've actually been rewatching the movies, so I've now seen Karate Kid Part 1 and 2. Of course, was it Netflix or HBO Max has just recently gotten rid of. They used to have all of the Karate Kid movies, and now they're gone. Now they don't exist anymore. And so now I'm struggling to find Karate Kid Part 3, because it is considered to be the worst of them and is not considered to be good at all. It got terrible reviews, and don't think it made much money at the box office. But it's also a movie that's impossible to find on streaming. So I'm trying to find a way to watch it where I don't have to spend just spending too much on a rental. It's just like, I don't really want to do that. But yeah. Let's see. But great show. Seriously, absolutely great show. Thank you very much. Adam and the Clan, thank you for letting them know how to contact me. Thank you, everyone that's joining over on D-Live. Again, I stream simultaneously to D-Live and to YouTube. So again, if you have a comment on D-Live, use the tag that Adam has pointed out. If you're on YouTube, though, again, please do make sure you put Odin question, or be a member, or consider donating. Nano Reaper 717, who is a member, says, maybe we should be like the old Roman Republic and not allow actors or tavern owners to be citizens. Ooh, I see what you're doing there. That is very, very clever. If only. Tina B says, plus it's fake Star Wars Day. That slimeball Kurtzman probably dreamt up a few days ago. Gary had to cover that. Oh, absolutely. No question. Grandmaster Yoda Tad 718. So Tenet opened up over 3 times more than Mulan. That most hurt for Disney. Not really. I mean, here's the thing. Tenet is a big film. Tenet was expected to make money. So the fact that it is making money, that's not a big shock for Disney. The shock for Disney is that Mulan is making so little. Because people thought Mulan was going to at least make Disney money, right? Maybe not be the huge hit, maybe not be a $1 billion movie, but still making some money, right? Tenet's made well over $150 million worldwide now. It still has a way to go to break even, but these are different times. It's impossible for me to really track it, because the typical 2 weeks that I can use to get a range of what the film likely will make is not really going to be accurate now, because of how the market is not fully open and how there are just still so many question marks as far as, is California theaters going to reopen? How many? To what capacity? New York, what's going to happen? To what capacity, right? Are they going to do new releases, re-releases? Who knows? So all of these question marks really leave a lot of questions unanswered when it comes to how much money they'll make. So again, Tenet was expected to make money. It's made over $150 million worldwide. Mulan was expected to make some money, and the fact that it's making so little, I think, is actually more so the surprise there. So I would not say that they are, upset about Tenet making money because they knew Tenet was likely going to make money. And let me just try and give, so the most recent count we have is that it's made around $152 million. It's made only $20 million domestically, $132 million internationally. And again, it was a film that cost a fair amount of money to make, so it still has a bit to make up. But the fact that it's making as much as it is, with only, so for the United States, for its opening weekend, it made $20 million. And that was only at 2,800 screens. So it's missing about 1,000 to 2,000 screens, maybe a little like 1,000 to 1,500 screens, more accurately. And so that's a lot of money right there that it's missing out on. And also, of those 2,810 screens that are open, they're at 20% capacity, 40% capacity. So yeah, it's something where the fact that it's making money at all is worthy of commendation. And whether it makes its money back, it's impossible to say, because Tenet did cost a lot of money. Mulan cost a lot of money. Difference is Tenet is making money and Mulan isn't. Now, to be fair, Tenet did have a international release where Mulan has kind of had this weird release schedule where it released first on Disney Plus, which was stupid. Right now, it's only made about $5.9 million internationally, and I'm trying to see what country it made that in. So it's made money. So yeah, it's made very little in Croatia, Czech Republic, Malaysia, New Zealand. No, it hasn't. Singapore, Taiwan, and Thailand. And the biggest of those was Thailand. It's made $1.2 million. So really not performing well, but it also has not officially been released in China yet. Or at least we don't have numbers from China yet. So I assume it's not going to do well in China. But then again, China is run by the commies. So what if, it's made $200 billion in China. They could do it. They're commies. Jens Jurgensen, what's going on, man? 3 minutes ago, thank you very much for the super chat. And says, money, take it, pizza, meat, no pineapple. Back to Gary, see you later. Oh, and I love that beard. Well, Jens Jurgensen, thank you so much, man. I understand, I get it, man. I love Gary. Gary's fantastic. And absolutely, dude, pizza, pepperoni, all the meats, no pineapple. Screw pineapple on pizza. It is an abomination. An absolute abomination. I actually had some pepperoni pizza for dinner tonight. It's leftovers. Heated up pizza, leftovers. So good. Alice McCarthy at 718, who's a member on YouTube, says, Gary went live an hour and a half ago, but boomer mic issues that made him sound like a satanic robot. Oh, yes, well, I have this great microphone, and I don't know how to use it. I love Gary. Gary's my bro. Gary's my bro. Forever Sci-Fi, is a member at 718, said, just convince Gary to start at breakfast time. Rather, to start a breakfast show, then he'll start at noon. Yeah, seriously. That's what we need to do is say, okay, Gary, start, instead of the nooner, have it be like the mooner. Or mooner sounds better. Make it the mooner. The morning show. The morning show. I'm sure you could spin it that way. But yeah, then you'll start at noon, and then the nooner will actually exist. That's a good shout. Robert Frey, Nathan Slay, how's it going? General Wingster tagged at 718. Odin, you have a Fire Stick and a movie blog? I had no idea. I know. It's not like I mention these things ever in my life. Never, ever. Nathan Slay tagged and says, how are you, Odin? It's kind of rough getting back into school. Yeah, I can only imagine, Nathan. For me, it really hasn't been too bad all around. I'm sure for the students it has been, having to wear the masks and, deal with everything. But hey, 4-day week this week. Next week, we have a 3.5 day because we have 1 day off as kind of this at-home day, but it's really just a day off in the middle of the week. It's so great. Oh, having a Wednesday off every now and then is just brilliant. And then we have a half day for teachers having to do meetings the following Friday. So 3.5 days next week. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Miss Mar Muses, you are correct. Miss Saigon, that's right. Talking there about Lea Salonga. As I said, the woman who did the singing voice for Jasmine in the movie Aladdin, and also the singing voice for the original Mulan. Yeah, she was in Miss Saigon on Broadway. I've met her. I've actually met her because she was in a revival of Les Miserables. And in the original, she had played the younger female lead character, the one who sings "On My Own." I think it's Eponine. Yeah, she played Eponine in the original production that she was a part of. She was not the original Eponine, but she was Eponine in the first one she did. In this one, in the revival, she was it was several years later. And so she was old enough to be able to play Fantine. And so she's the original from the most, I would say, actually it hasn't been the most recent. So this was back when I was in college. So between 2007 and 2011, whenever the revival was up there, I got to see her as Fantine. And then I did the stage door for it, got to meet her. She was very, very sweet. Very, very sweet. But I was just like, it's Jasmine and Mulan. She's great. All right, Legit36 says, have you seen There Will Be Blood? If so, what did you think about it? I hear it's a great movie and I plan on seeing it on Netflix. It is fantastic, Legit36. First off, Paul freaking Dano's in it. Need I say more? Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis is in it. Yeah, he gives a great performance. Yeah, he's a standout. But hey, Paul freaking Dano's in it. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. Great. Best scene. Wait till you get to the bowling alley scene. It will change your life. It's at the very end of the movie. It's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Donald Hudson says, wait, Odin, your channel is a review channel? Well, cook my grits. Nathan Slay. Mulan remake to the original Mulan. Mr. I'll make a joke out of you. No good. What's up, no good? Titan says, hope you're well. Which Disney live action remakes have been good? I love Lilo and Stitch and anxious about that going bad. Yeah, they should never, and I know they're planning to do the live action for Lilo and Stitch. That's a terrible idea. I'm not a big fan of Lilo and Stitch in general, even the animation. So I really, they need to stop all of their live actions, because the only one that I've seen that's been passable was Cinderella, but it was totally unnecessary. Like, even though I enjoyed it for what it was, it's a film that did not need to happen, because there have been so many renditions of Cinderella, both animated and live action. And so even though I thought it was by far the best one they've done, and some people say Pete's Dragon, I've not seen the live action Pete's Dragon before. And to be fair, the Pete's Dragon movie, at least that one's more of an obscure Disney film, right? It's a little bit older. Some people obviously have seen it. I remember seeing it when I was a kid, but it's not one as well known as things like Dumbo or Mulan or Beauty and the Beast, right? But yeah, all those have been crap. So Cinderella would be the only one I would say is worth talking about at all. Tina, thank you very much for letting them know. Yeah, if you are in the chat and you indeed want to comment and have that comment read or a question read, please just type Odin question, all one word. Let's see. Waiting for Nerdrotic at 721 says, I'm still trying to forgive you for your dislike of 80s Dune. I love that movie. It's okay if you like it. It's okay. But again, David Lynch, no, he's terrible. I can't stand his work. He's too weird and bizarre, and he lets that take over for narrative, and it's never a good thing. Denis Villeneuve, though, I think is going to be great. And also, I saw this question a little bit above it. No, Denis Villeneuve did not direct Sicario 2. I wish he did. Sicario 2 was still good, though, because it actually had the same writer. And that's another cool thing about the movie that he did, Incendies. Incendies is actually a play. And so it was adapted into a movie. It worked very, very well as a movie. And the person that was in charge of the transition was Denis Villeneuve. So he didn't write the play, but he did lead the transition over. But yeah, Sicario was made in 2015. Guys, a year before the 2016 election, Sicario, a movie about the border, did it without going political. That is worthy of saying. October of 2015. So that's pretty big. But Taylor Sheridan did the script for that first film. He came back to write the second, which is why the second one's not as good as the first, because it doesn't have as good of a director, but the script is still good. I think if Denis Villeneuve had come back to do the script, or rather had come back to do direction, Sicario 2 would have been even better. But this is the dude that's done Wind River, which was amazing. I know that I mentioned that film with Rosetta because it deals specifically with crime on reservations and how many crimes don't get reported and don't get covered. But this was actually this was Taylor Sheridan's, I believe it was his directorial debut. He wrote and directed it. He also did a movie called Hell or High Water, which was also fantastic. So Taylor Sheridan is a brilliant writer, really, really talented writer. And but yeah, he did Sicario, Day of the Soldado. It's fun because Sicario was the first film he ever wrote. It was the first film he ever wrote. It's the first writing credit you see on here. So the fact that he's done Sicario, and it was fantastic. Hell or High Water, fantastic. Wind River, fantastic. Sicario, Day of the Soldado, fantastic. He apparently created the TV series The Last Cowboy. I've never seen it. He also does something called Yellowstone, which he created as well. But he is also working on the screenplay for Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, Those Who Wish Me Dead, and a movie called Fast. So Tom Clancy, that's going to star Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Bell, directed by Stefano Sollima. I've never heard of him before. But again, Taylor Sheridan wrote it, so it's at least going to have a good script. And it looks like here he is directing a thriller, Those Who Wish Me Dead. Angelina Jolie, Nicholas Hoult, John Bernthal. I don't like Jolie, but Nicholas Hoult, John Bernthal, those are pretty good. And then Fast, he's working with Gavin O'Connor, who has done, let's see what he did. What did he direct? What has he directed? Jane Got a Gun, The Accountant. I actually like The Accountant. The Way Back, I've not seen that yet. Warrior, love Warrior. Oof. So, Gavin O'Connor, Taylor Sheridan, that could be a great combination, but we'll see. Hardwick, what's going on, good sir? Says, is Tenet doing well financially considering the situation? I mean, considering the situation, yeah. For any movie to say, yeah, I've made $150 million when the vast majority of theaters across the world are still very much closed or at the very least limited, yeah, that's very big. Mark Molina, what's going on? See that new name here. Cobra Viber 999-722 says, Prisoners is my favorite Denis Villeneuve film. It's a great one. It's a film I need to go back to and rewatch because I loved it the first time, but it's a movie that I've not revisited, which is why I had to buy it on Blu-ray. But for me, Sicario, hands down, Sicario is my favorite, easily. Laura says, Birds of Prey was just as horrible as everyone said. I lasted 15 minutes. I am surprised you lasted that long, Laura. It really is bad. It's so cringeworthy. Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, says, hopping over from Gary's stream. Well, thank you for hopping to this channel. 61 people still watching. Very impressive, to say the least, given the competition that we have tonight. Because Gary's pretty awesome. I do love me some Gary. And then Father says, and long live the great Communist Party of China. Screw you, Father. No. And yes, I'm sorry I said that, Father. I'll say it, Hail Mary. But you said, long live the commies. How dare you? How dare you? What are you, Pope Francis? Oh, badooch. Anyone who knows anything about Catholicism will get that joke and that reference. Anyway. Oh, Lord. Nathan Slay says, you know what's disturbing and powerful? Emo Parker dancing. Oh, Bully Maguire, you mean? Oh, Bully Maguire and anything is fantastic. Caleb Richardson, Tad 724. Are you going to see Infidel when it comes out in 10 days? I haven't not really heard much about Infidel. Let me see what it's about. Not infidec. That's just inappropriate. I don't even know what it means. Of course I need to put movie because it's like definition. Do you want to know the definition? No, I don't. I don't want to know the definition. All right, there's The Infidel from 2010. 2011? 2020. Let's see. Independent American action film by Cyrus Noraste, starring Jim Caviezel and Claudia Carvin. Interesting. If it's coming out in theaters, if it's coming to my local AMC, absolutely. No problem. I'd love to see it. I love me some Jim Caviezel. Let's see. The first film was released 12 years ago, which was The Stoning of Soraya. Both films deal with corruption in the Middle East, and more specifically in Iran and Iranian regime. Moreover, in both films, Jim Caviezel plays a journalist whose rights are infringed upon and violated by the Iranian antagonist. Hey, any film calling out Iran? Yeah, sign me up, dude. And I do like Jim Caviezel. So yeah, if it comes out at my local theater, in fact, I have not checked to see if we have a, let's see. I want to see if we have a schedule for this weekend. I'm excited. There's movie schedules again. I remember when I used to be in charge of them, or at least helping. Let's see. Get tickets. What is coming out this weekend? I want to know. Nothing major is coming out, but what is, let's see, what movie? So the Broken Hearts Gallery. That's all I got. Damn it. I don't want to see that movie. It doesn't look good. Then Dirty Dancing, but I can't use my A-list on that one, so probably won't. Let's see if the one closer to me has anything different. All right, they got their Thursday lineup. Let's see if they got that Friday lineup. Let's see, Tenet and New Mutants, Unhinged, Personal History, Broken Hearts Gallery, Sonic the Hedgehog, Black Panther. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, though, to be honest. But interesting. So doesn't look like it's coming to my AMC 12. Hopefully it comes to my AMC 18. Because if it does, then yes, I will. Stephanie B, how's it going, Steph? How's it going? Glad to see you here, as always. Father says you gotta lower your ideals of freedom if you want to suck on the warm tea of China. Oh, Father, hearing that come from you, it just makes it that much better. Alien Xenomorph, 1 minute ago, thank you for the $2 super chat, and says, Micah Curtis calls you Odin's grifter log. F him. Micah Curtis? Who the hell is that? Like, seriously, if he's calling me a grifter, I don't even know who he is. So it doesn't sound like he's that important. Good luck, bud. Oh, man, oh, man. It's like, seriously, if they're still calling me a grifter, I think that's hilarious. I don't make many videos anymore. I've been too busy going to work because I have a real job. Is he mad because I called out Mulan for being a terrible movie? I would love to hear this person's, let me know in the chat. What's this person's deal? Micah Curtis. Who the hell is that? I don't even know who that is. Doesn't sound like they're that important, though. 70B says, oh, hi, Chief. Oh, hi, Stephanie B. Tina B, my brother has Blade Runner 2049 in our Vudu account. You know I don't mind long. Yes, that is true. This is true. You do like movies that are 4 hours long, so I recommend it. But as I said, if I had to pick one Denis Villeneuve film to watch first, it would be Sicario. But I think they're all good. I would say the last one to watch is Enemy. By far, the last one to watch is Enemy. It's the shortest one, but it's also one of the more complex. Super Anime Gamer says, hell, what is up, my dude? Sorry I'm late. Was doing homework. Boo. Boo. Super. Glad you're here, though. Hyper Next 13, next rant recommendation for Tina, Blade Runner 2049. No. Out of the Denis Villeneuve films, Enemy would be the one. If she was going to rant about any of them, I think it would be Enemy. Donald Hudson says, Canada is like a loft apartment above a great party. Keep it down, eh? Oh, man. Waiting for Nerdrotic says, did you ever watch Enemy Mine? No. It's on my watch list, though, if it even is still existent on HBO Max. But it was on my watch list at one point. Tina B says, what movie is like Parasite? Because that'll get a big, huge X through it from me. Yep, I'm already judging it. No. Anyway, the movie was Enemy. And the only reason why is because it has some... I mean, because I don't think you hate David Lynch as much as I do. So if you like David Lynch movies or you don't mind them as much, then maybe it was just Parasite and I don't know. But this, to me, if I had to compare it, it's not like Parasite, but I would say it can be frustrating story-wise because it's complex. Let's see. Father at 726 says, keep in prayer the repose of the soul of Officer Mario Herrera, who died yesterday of wounds he received when he was shot in the line of duty 2 weeks ago. Faithful Catholic. Yeah, Father, I think you either put that in a group chat or mentioned it on Twitter, so absolutely. So pray for, I mean, it's amazing to me how all of these officers and people that have died during everything going on with the protests and the riots, and yet people still are hanging on to every single word that these domestic terrorist groups are putting out there, the Antifas and the BLMs, because more people have died in this very short period of time than the supposed inequality that they talk about. You know, their whole mindset is, oh, well, people of color are being shot down by cops in the street every day for no reason, and that's not true. If you actually look at the stats and look at the information, more people have died during the riots and protests than have been killed by officers. But people don't want to talk about facts. Nansley says, put David Lynch and David Fincher together. You get David. Oh, no, I'm not going to say that word. That word could get me in trouble. I see what you did there, though. Laura says, LOL, Mulan. Yeah, seriously, it's so Mulan. Oh, it's so crazy. Tina B says, y'all cracking me up about my rants. Context Blade Runner 2049. I don't need any context for that comment. Your rants are of epic proportion. As I said, what I need to do is I need to go to my streams and cut out the rants and then create your channel, and I'll create it. I'll give you access to your password and everything, and then you can change it. But yeah, you'll have a channel, and it'll start off with just your rants. That'll get you started. Rosetta Allen. Rosetta, how's it going? Says, Odin, hope you're doing well. I'm excited today. I'm glad you're excited. Rosetta. And reminds me, we're going to have our Chosen stream early this month because baby boy is going to be born, if everything goes as planned, early October. And obviously, end of September, who knows if baby boy is going to be here or not. Obviously, it depends on a lot of different things. But because of that, I'm going to try and get that stream done early so that way I can get my September peeps, my September Chosen taken care of, and not have to worry about canceling in the last minute or being unsure towards the end of the month. So that'll be this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the main channel, this channel that you're watching right now. Super says, I humbly disagree. Robert Eggers and Ari Aster are the epitome of art house bleh. Yes, Super. Dude, I totally forgot. Ari Aster, isn't he the one that did The Witch, I think? And then he also did Midsommar. No. This is the dude that did Midsommar and Hereditary. I've seen Hereditary. Good Lord, yes. That movie is complete, just full of themselves, art house bleh. Yes, good shout. Robert Eggers, I believe, is the one who did Witch and did The Lighthouse, I think. Yeah. He did The Witch, which I was just not a fan of at all. He wrote and directed. And then The Lighthouse. And The Lighthouse, I will give him this. He's good at getting performances out of his actors. The acting in both of those films has been great. But yeah, very, very art house. Very stylistic and just not in the best way. So yeah, I agree with you there for sure. But David Lynch I would throw into that same category. Let's see. Hardwick says the entire plot of Wonder Woman 84 was leaked 8 months ago. The new trailer confirms it to be genuine. Are you interested in a DM with the link? Not really, Hardwick, because 8 months ago, a lot of things can change over 8 months. Doesn't matter what a trailer reveals. A trailer is not the entire movie. So we'll have to wait for the movie to come out to see whether or not the actual plot was fully spoiled or fully leaked, or if some changes were made. Because 8 months is a long time. Oz Baxter Incorporated. How's it going? Sasha Neon says, first time IGN faked us out was in April to promote the legalized weed movement. It sucked. This time it's hinted at Boba Fett much better. Ah, okay. Super says, speaking of Mulan, do you think Disney is going to respond to the controversy? Looks like they really screwed themselves this time. Well, basically it depends on their stocks. If Disney's stock plummets and plummets continuously, then they'll respond to it. But if they're still making money, why would they? I mean, their stock price went up $2 today. So, I mean, if they're still making money and their investors are not selling off like crazy, why would they? They have no reason to. They would have no reason to apologize. Have they ever apologized? I'm still waiting for the apology for Star Wars. Call me when that happens, because then I'll watch anything Disney. If they ever apologize for Star Wars, whew, I can only imagine. Let's see. Super says, also correction, the U.S. release has been mostly piracy. Yes, Fair point, Super. That is a very fair point indeed. So yeah, one could potentially argue that point for sure. Vinzinger, stop randomly posting random things. Yeah, don't post random animes. That's just annoying. That is really just annoying. And after your recent comment, calling me out for having a movie blog, I know you apologized to it, and I thank you for your apology, but not a good look. Not a good look, man. Just saying. So please chill. And Valks, please, if you feel the need to put in timeouts, I understand, because that can get annoying. All right, 741 in the chat. So I am still 20 minutes behind, but let me jump over to DLive for a second to see what's going on. Daniel Thorne says, next movie you're going to see in theaters. I don't know what's coming out new anytime soon. Potentially, it's going to be early October. In fact, I've just updated my website. So let's see. Greenland, maybe. I think Greenland's getting a theatrical release, so that will be coming out in September, but that's end of September. That was the only one that I had interest in. Enola Holmes, maybe. Again, I understand the trailer can be annoying, but hey, Henry Cavill's in it. I like Henry Cavill. And from there, yeah, October is Wonder Woman 84. So I'm going to go see it to see for myself, what's going on with that plot. And then in October, the only other film I had really any interest in that's getting a theatrical release would be Death on the Nile. Excited for that one. And then November, the only ones of note there are Black Widow, which, Soul, finally coming out, which I do like Pixar films typically, but, And then No Time to Die. Ugh. I got to see it, though, just to see how much of it is crap. Because guess what, guys? I have a movie blog, which means I'm going to see and talk about movies. Just saying. Micah Curtis, grifter. What am I grifting about? Please explain to me what I'm grifting about. Would love to hear it. All right, jumping over back to DLive. Let's see. No one else tagged. So, DLive fams, the K-Man, Daniel Thorne having a conversation. Glad to see y'all here. All right, back to YouTube at 741 in the chat. So if any comments were skipped prior, I honestly don't know. But anyway, at 741, Grandmaster Yoda says, I'm sure Tenet will break even if theater was at 100% capacity. Well, we can't know for sure. I mean, it's impossible for us to know for sure, because here's the thing. Even if theaters were allowed to have 100% capacity, does not mean that people would go to 100% capacity. It is something we have to point out as possibly being a limiting factor. And when you take into account it's still making that money with limited theaters and with limited space in those theaters, if you still had the pandemic and theaters were still allowed to open at 100%, that does not mean audiences are going to feel comfortable enough going. I know enough people out there that do not want to go back, that are nervous about going back. Now, whether you agree with them or not doesn't matter, because that is simply what they think. That is their own opinion. That is their right to have. And so, yeah, that's we can't say that, Grandmaster Yoda. We really can't. If there was no pandemic at all, and it was a normal year, oh, absolutely. Nolan, I think, would have made some decent money with it. But Nolan is not really one that's usually known as always making a film that is going to make crap tons of money. Because he cares more about making a movie that has a good story and that has all the technical elements behind it, more so than making a film that's going to please everyone and make people want to go see it. Tina B, tagged at 741, says, I don't think that's a good idea. Context, pineapple on pizza. It's disgusting. Nathan Slay, first of all, I totally agree with you on pineapple pizza sucks. Second, you have a movie blog. Why didn't no one tell me this? I know. Paul Taylor, how's it going? It's a new name. And yes, There Will Be Blood is fantastic. So good. Rhaegar Targaryen, what's going on? Good sir. Rob D in the chat. General Wingster, Odin 70B lacks pineapple on pizza. I sense deception in the ranks. Oh no, I cannot allow this. Stephanie B. Nana Reaper at 743, who's a member, says, hey, Disney, stop all live-action remakes. Do it now. Yes, I agree. In the honored voice. James Doshier, don't know exactly. Again, please, tell me in the chat. $2 super chat. Thank you very much, good sir. Says, could you rank your Indiana Jones films? Thanks. Good question. So I just need to have all the names just because I have ADD, so I could list them off the top of my head, but that usually doesn't end very well. So let's see. Indiana Jones. Mr. Jones. Because obviously last I could say easily is Crystal Skull. Easily the last place goes to Crystal Skull. Then I would go Temple of Doom. So I'm going in reverse order. So Crystal Skull at the bottom, then Temple of Doom. Then I would go Last Crusade, and then Raiders of the Lost Ark would be at the top. Raiders is just such a great movie and is so well done. I like Last Crusade because there's obviously some religious elements to the movie, so I thoroughly enjoy that. Great development of the relationship between Indiana Jones and his father. And Temple of Doom, right, has its moments that I thoroughly enjoy, but it's definitely, I would say, my least favorite of the three. There's really only three, right? Because Crystal Skull, ugh. I want to imagine that film never existed. But thank you, James. I appreciate the comment. All right, back into YouTube. Alex McCarthy, tagged at 744. Live action Lady and the Tramp was pure garbage. Yeah, I didn't even see that because it was live action and yet it was all CGI. Mostly CGI. I don't even know if there were real people in it. It's kind of like Lion King was live action. No, it wasn't. That one was complete CGI. That means it was an animated movie, and it was terrible. Rob D, I know it's from a different era, but did you see 101 Dalmatians 96? Yes. The live action one, I did, and I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I think that it worked better. The story worked better for animation than for live action, but didn't hate it. Obviously, you have oh my gosh, what's her name? She played Cruella de Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. She's classic. Glenn Close. Gosh, yeah, Glenn Close playing Cruella de Vil was spectacular. So yeah, Glenn Close was born for that role. She did a great job with it. Riff Mongos, dude, thank you very much for the $5 donation via Streamlabs. Thank you for donating via Streamlabs. That way YouTube gets nothing. And Riff Mongos says this: at this point of Star Trek, I'd love to see James Woods perform a Blood Eagle on Alex Kurtzman's skull. Well, Riff Mongos, thank you very much for the donation, man. I appreciate it. All righty. Rosetta Allen says live-action Cinderella was boring, and the remake of Pete's Dragon had way too much anti-business, way too much anti-logger, tree-hugger crap. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, so I can't say. And yeah, Cinderella, I can understand why people would enjoy it and not enjoy it. But for me, I mean, I think that if you had seen all the live-action films that I have, Cinderella is by far, leaps and bounds, the best that they've done. Doesn't mean that it's great or amazing. As I said, it was totally unnecessary, but I enjoyed it. Forever Sci-Fi says Cinderella worked because Lily James exudes charm. Dude, right there. Forever Sci-Fi. Totally agree. Lily James is a wonderful actress. She was also the female lead in Baby Driver, another film that I thoroughly enjoy. Yeah, she's great. So much charisma. And yeah, she says, he goes on to say she plays innocent and sweet well, like in The Darkest Hour. Yeah, I forgot that she had been in Darkest Hour. Rosetta then says, maybe she's innocent and sweet, but the character and the role were boring. Well, again, that's an opinion, right? That's totally subjective. So yeah, I respect it. I respect your opinion. But as I said, objectively, I think it is the best made, the best constructed of them. Tina B says, allegedly, as I told you, Disney plans on making 20 live-action movies from their animation. Just stop it, Disney. I'm sure Bambi will be a fake live-action CGI. Seriously, why do we want to see a quote-unquote live-action, fake live-action, Lion King crap live-action, animated movie where we have to watch Bambi's mom die again? Like, why? No, thank you. No, thank you at all. Let's see. Kara Tharp, welcome to the chat. Nathan Slay, it doesn't surprise me that there wasn't much political crap in 2015. The Liberals had already had the person they wanted in office. They had nothing to whine about. Well, no, that's not true. Dude, trust me, man. These crazy people have been whining forever. Even when they get what they want, they're still not happy. It's kind of a problem. Harvick says, I like that Cinderella 2015 amalgamated the best elements of Grimm and Perrault versions of the fairy tale, the 1950 animation, the Prokofiev ballet, and the Rossini opera. Well, don't know about all that stuff. have not seen most of that stuff. All I can say, though, is that it definitely leaned heavily on the traditional animated version, which may have had a lot of those things in it without the songs, without the fun songs, which I think is probably one of the biggest problems with it, is that if it had songs, it would have been better. Max says, Stefano Salima, the guy you said you never heard of, did Sicario 2. I think, I ended up going through those things. So, again, don't post things before I go through it myself. Need to approve. I know barely anyone knows how much you love Paul freaking Dano, but what is your absolute favorite movie role of his? Ooh, good question. Good question. Let me see and look through his filmography, because I've not seen everything he's been in, but I've seen a lot of it. And the dude is so good. I hope Riddler is fantastic. All right, let's see. So he's in a movie called The Emperor's Club from 2002. Love him in that film. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. The one that kind of got him on the map for a lot of people, he was Dwayne in Little Miss Sunshine. So the son that doesn't talk because he's trying to build up to go to, I think, military school, and then he finds out at the end and then freaks out. And then the first words you hear him say is, F! It's so funny. So that was him, Paul freaking Dano, man. That was a great role he did. Paul Sunday, Eli Sunday, There Will Be Blood is great too. Let's see. What other films have I seen him in? Ruby Sparks. Actually, yeah. I'll say either Ruby Sparks or Love and Mercy. Ruby Sparks, he played the male lead there. Great film. Great rom-com. He was also in Looper by Rian Johnson. He did fine in the film. Prisoners as well. Great supporting role there. He was in 12 Years a Slave, too. He played a very despicable man, and that one did a great job on it. Swiss Army Man, he was great in. Swiss Army Man, so fun. And then he was in Okja. Wasn't a fan of Okja, but again, Paul freaking Dano, he was great in it. So, yeah, I would say out of all of those, Ruby Sparks or what was the other one that I mentioned? Anyway, I already mentioned it. So, but yes, great actor. Nana Reaper, smash the like button. Yes, please. Yes, and please. Donald Hudson says, Little Caesar or Checkers for dinner. Pizza sounds good, but so does burger and fries. Dude, burger and fries sounds delectable. So for you, those are the two options. Go with Little Caesars, man. I had leftover oven pizza. Oven. Let's see. Rosetta Allen says, Michael Curtis is a low-tier comic skater. Oh, okay. Got you. Comic skater? I don't feel like comic skate guys, people normally go after me. Unless they're crazy. Because there have been crazy ones that have gone after me, but they've also been now disavowed by comic skate and even war campaigns. So, yeah. If it's one of those persons, then that would understand it. But if he's someone that's actually like a part of Comicsgate and everything, yeah. Come on, dude. Come on, man. I could say things, but I'm not going to. Hybrid X13, what did you say, Odin? I ran. Where did you run, my brother? I read to Iran. Iranception. Awful joke, but I still appreciate it nonetheless. Father Christopher Miller, I know it was 20 minutes ago, but I stole the... You gotta lower your ideals of freedom if you want to suck from South Park. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Odin's grifting vlog. Tina then says, did Aliens Xenomorph say Micah Curtis? He's another YouTuber I used to watch quite a bit, but not lately. He did have a vibrant YouTube channel, but I haven't watched him in ages. Well, I think that speaks volumes. So it sounds like he's calling people names because he has nothing else to talk about. Sounds sad. Donald Hudson, how dare you have a real job? Unsubbed. Yeah, how dare I? How dare I? How dare you? Rosetta says, Micah rubs me wrong. Sometimes doesn't feel right with him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about this dude. Never heard of him before. But if he's anything like, what's his name? Crazy military guy. You know I'm talking about, Rosetta. Then, yeah, I would understand why anyone would be uncomfortable. Rosetta then says, watch Jeff Durham's last video about the election, Odin. It calls out the peaceful protest crap. It also trashes both sides beautifully. I love when both sides get called out. Someone that I've become a huge fan of, especially with his takes on mail-in voting and everything coming out recently, and I hope he does more, is Razor Fist. Razor Fist has been on fire. Father says, so Odin doesn't have to read this, but Officer Herrera wasn't killed because of Black Lives Matter, the riots. He was just present enforcing an arrest warrant. Yeah, but it's still relevant, Father, because, you know, it's still something where the fact remains that more people have been killed during the protest. So that's still true. And then in this case, right, it's a officer who lost his life in the line of duty, and these same idiots that are, you know, rioting are the same ones that just refuse to acknowledge the fact that that is more of a problem. More cops are getting killed every year than people of color, by cops specifically. I mean, come on. Hardwick, God, Lord. So again, when people answer questions, I don't need 100 answers for a question. So read the room, people. But anyway, Hardwick says, Mike Curtis is a YouTuber and Comicsgate creator. I've watched quite a few of his videos and backed his first comic on Indiegogo. I haven't seen one where he calls you a grifter. Well, again, I don't know it. Iron Vet says, Enemy or Prisoners, Gyllenhaal. Ooh, I like Prisoners as a movie more. Enemy probably has the better Gyllenhaal performance because he plays two people. So... Laura, waiting for Nedrag, says, there's finally movies on schedule. She gives me the middle finger. California is closed forever. No, Laura, no. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Super. But remember, Odin, there are still 93% peaceful. Oh, that crap. That crap. Lord. Boy. I saw someone put that. Boy. General Wingster tagged, fun fact, more white people were killed by officers than any of the races last year. Kind of undermines the current movement. Yes, it does, General Wingster. But those are facts. Those are stats, and people don't want to listen to those. Well, those could have been fudged and made up. Okay. Now you're starting to dive into conspiracy theory territory, and I just don't think you have enough evidence to back up your claims. Especially since a lot of the people that you're promoting as heroes, we have clear evidence that they are not, that they were actually terrible people, and that they, even though I don't think violence of any kind is justified, that's just my own take on it, and I do think there needs to be reform among police departments. However, I totally understand why people think that many of these cops were just doing their job, and many of them were, and just got caught up in a very bad situation that could have been avoided had there not been resistance of arrest, use of drugs, etc. It is still something where, you know, it's interesting. People don't want to actually take time to do evidence and to look up for evidence, rather. Rosetta Allen says, oh, this will be exciting this weekend for Valhalla. I have an official second cover art I'm doing for another comic creator. Very cool. Very, very cool. Don Hudson tagged, better have the room and to go bag ready. Babies have a tendency to come when you least expect it. Yeah, I know. We've talked about that, but because we don't live too far away from the hospital, I'm not too, I say that and I'm like, well, because if we get there and I need to grab something, it's not like, because I can still go back in. There's a lot of restrictions now because of COVID. But if worse came to worse, I could run back home, put it back together, and then come back. Because labor, luckily, does not happen that quickly. Not that I want to leave my wife, but let's say worst case scenario happens, I think we'll be okay. But yes, I totally hear where you're coming from. I hope that those random lists stopped, because that, just looking at it annoys me. It's just too much. Too much. Sunny says, got you, Chief? Time out. Yes, please. Yes. Max says, why did you skip my question? I didn't skip your questions. If you were listening, I said that some comments may have been skipped. Not because I chose to, but because YouTube skipped them. If you were here all the time, you'd know that this happens sometimes. But speaking of that, let me jump over to my D-Live fam and make sure that I have not missed anything going over there. Dana Thorne says, sadly, the way one friend talks, he'd say more cops need to die so people would stop ignoring how many black. Oh man, yeah, it's just, yeah, that's like, no, not at all. No, I don't think anyone should be dying, right? I don't want anyone to be dying. And, some people do think that way, though, right? It's like they want these things to happen because it pushes the narrative, and that's what they want to do on either side. And it's not good on either side. It's one of those things that I pray for. I want us to be able to come together as a country and talk about these things peacefully. We should be able to do that. But there are extremists on both sides of the aisle. Because the far right are anarchists. Far left are commies. Socialist. And somehow, some way, they found themselves together. It's this weird conglomeration. Forever Sci-Fi is a member. Regal doing a 30th anniversary of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in November. I might have to check that out. Ooh, yeah. Good stuff. Fable Narrative tagged at 804. What if Odin is a troll? Creating a movie blog to trick his audience to think he's actually a movie blogger. Diabolical. Yes. However, the movie reviews that I have on the channel kind of puts the fork in the meat on that one. But I see what you're talking about there. That would be a great poll. Edgardo Martinez, finally my boss finished the meeting. No, Edgardo, no. Yeah, we're getting close to the end here. About 9 minutes or so. Super at 804. Bond has me scared. It looks awesome, but I struggle to see why it needed to be modernized to see what about Fleabag screams 007. What were they thinking? Yeah, the fact that they hired her on, the writer for Fleabag, who was also, L337 in Solo. Great character that everyone loved. It boggles my mind why they would bring her on as a writer. It just doesn't make sense to me. But based on what's been leaked or speculated about how the movie's going to end, how there seems to be some Me Too stuff indicated even in the newest trailer. I've not seen it for myself to be able to confirm it one way or the other. But yeah, it's something where I'm concerned about it too. More so for my dad. My dad's a huge fan of Bond, and he loved Casino Royale. Obviously, he had issues with Quantum of Solace. He loved Skyfall. He liked Spectre. But he's kind of been falling more and more out of love with these movies the more that have come out. Max at 804. Have you thought more about Tenet? Of course. It's a thinking man's movie, and I still love it. And no, my opinions have remained essentially the same. Then he says, tell John to upload his review already. John will do things on his own time. Trust me. If I had control over John, you'd be getting videos every single day, but I do not control John. And then he says, what is your most anticipated movie of 2020? Not counting Dune. There's been so many movies that have been moved around this year. I don't even know what's still officially on the schedule. So out of the ones that I mentioned, the ones that are up on my site right now, this is going to sound boring, but probably Greenlit. Not really. I mean, I'm not really looking forward to that movie, but I don't really care for Black Widow. Don't really care for Soul. Don't really care for No Time to Die. Don't really care for Wonder Woman 84. So yeah, again, there's been so many movies that have been moved though, because the answer used to be Top Gun. That was my most anticipated film of the year. And then everything got moved. So I don't really have a whole lot of movies that I'm pushing for. Unless A Quiet Place 2 is coming out this year. If Quiet Place 2 is coming out this year, then that will be one. But I think that one also is 2021. Nathan Slay, a lot of Nolan's movies have made money. Yes, but it's not guaranteed. Again, just because a movie makes money does not mean that it's a huge money maker. Right? His films have not lost money. Max says, also don't forget the marketing budget for Tenet was higher too, considering they had to market it twice essentially for a longer time than anticipated. Well, yes and no, because the marketing campaigns they normally would be much more expensive because you're talking about getting posters to every theater. You're talking about paying for advertising in the theaters themselves. So you're spending more on that. So even though they had a longer time to market it, it's not going to be as much as you would think it would be because they didn't have to spend the money in the theaters and in actual posters and stuff like that as much as they would normally have to. So, yeah. And no, I didn't forget that, and I never said the film is going to make money. I simply said that, hey, it's made $150 million so far, has a long way to go, but, who knows? Hardwick says, have you seen The Lobster? It's an art house movie with Colin Farrell and Rachel Weisz in which people have to either marry by a certain age or get turned into an animal as punishment. I have. There's parts of it I think are really clever and I like, and there are other parts that are just a little too much for me. Arthur Cook at 805, you skipped my question too. You need to confess your sins of pirating Mulan. Thou shalt not steal. I didn't skip your comment, Arthur. YouTube skipped the comment, and I say nay, nay. I would say nay, nay. And I'll let Father Christopher Miller, who is a father priest, tell me what to do and not someone else. So, Stephanie B, I love pineapple pizza. No, Stephanie B, how dare you? Hybrid X18, speaking of Croatia, they got trashed again 4-2 by France in a soccer tournament. France being rigged as usual with Ugandan Knuckles black magic. PTSD for Croatia since World Cup 2018. No. I used to be so much into it. Okay, I love this. So James, who super chatted earlier, says thank you. And then his last name, again, it's spelled Doshier. So I don't know if that's Doshier or Dosher, but then he just says it's Dosher. Like, he just spells out his last name. It's like, I know, it's like, that doesn't help me with pronunciation, James. I need help with pronunciation. Because all you did was just say your last name, and I can see your last name. I just don't know how to pronounce. Oh, there's everyone saying, Glenn Close, Glenn Close. I'm not going to see it until 20 minutes later. So there's no point in doing that. Tina B says, what is this Crystal Skull movie of which you speak? I think that's one of the non-existent things in our imaginations, like Godfather 3. Yes. Yes. JJ, what's going on? Glad to see you in the chat. Rosetta says, Cinderella was the best and it still sucks. Well, again, so you didn't enjoy it subjectively, and I respect the opinion, but objectively, it did not suck. 70B, thank you for supporting that channel. Super Disney is going to ruin Hunchback and Hercules with their live action remakes, and it makes me so sad. Leave my precious alone. Especially Hunchback. Hunchback is probably my favorite Disney animated movie. And between Hunchback and Hercules, you have, I would argue, the two best scores. Rosetta Allen, it definitely was the best of the live actions. They just did nothing to make it unique or impactful. Okay, Rosetta, I get it. You've said it now like 10 different ways. I know you didn't like the movie. It's okay. You have the opinion. James Dacier tagged says, did you see live action Jungle Book? Yes, and I was not a fan. Hardwick, Gina Carano is getting mobbed on Twitter again. This time it's for saying that business and churches should open, still hitting back. Well, she said that a bit ago. I want to say she said that like earlier in the week, the original comment. So yeah, people are going to attack because they're crazy. Edgardo, Crystal Skull never existed. Absolutely, Edgardo. Rabdi, if they must do a live action Bambi, they need to use real trained animals and have no dialogue in the film. CGI only on the faces to portray emotions. No, that's terrible. Waiting for Nerdrotic. When Gina Carano responded to my tweet, it was just a like and a link to her gram. Think she's done with the Twitter. I don't blame her. I do not blame her at all. Oz Baxter Incorporated. What is your action movie guilty pleasure? I don't like saying guilty pleasure for action films because I typically enjoy them. And it's not that they're a guilty pleasure. So I don't have an answer for that one, to be honest. Father says, will there be a review of Greta's Hulu documentary? If you don't, then how dare you? Screw that. Hell no. Why would I want to watch Greta? Unless it's Greta Zenner. I'll watch a documentary about her. I will not watch a documentary about this small child who is telling everyone how to live because she has so much experience in the world. Tina B says, but Odin got a shout out last night on Anomaly's channel tearing apart Mulan. I sat up and went, they said Odin's movie blog, and I fired off a message. You did. And shout out to Anomaly Inc. And I forget who was on his panel that said it, but thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, he talked about the comment on the channel that criticized me for reviewing a movie. And then talked about how my comment and response was, this is called Odin's movie blog. I don't know if you missed the part where this is a movie blog. Oh, that was fun. That was fun for me. All right, we are indeed wrapping things up here. So let's see any last minute comments. All right, let's check over DLive first. Thoughts on Book of Jubilees? Don't know what that is, Daniel Thorne. So cannot really say one way or the other. Captain High says, I saw that Regal is going to be showing anniversary edition of The Breakfast Club in a couple weeks. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. All right, back over to YouTube. Super says, facts and statistics are oasis. Seriously. Hardwick, there's a video in which a reporter asked Jake Gyllenhaal how to correctly pronounce his last name. He replied that it's pronounced Hillenhulene. Something tells me that he was joking. Alice McCarthy tagged at 819. Odin gonna have a baby when I have my spine surgery. Well, I hope it goes well, man. If I don't talk to you, because obviously it could happen anytime. Harmonex 13, sometimes I don't know what can be good. I hear that capitalism isn't good too, but it's still better than communism, right? I don't know, I'm lost. Yeah, I mean, capitalism's not a perfect system, but out of the systems that exist, it has by far been the best. Usually the problems with capitalism come into play when you have crony capitalism, which is when the government and business get into bed with each other. And that's really what's caused the biggest issues right now. We really haven't had any instances of pure capitalism without cronyism, because cronyism's bad. Hardwick, Daniel Craig himself is the one who wasn't satisfied with the script, was sensitive enough as regards social idiots, and sought out Phoebe Waller-Bridge for rewrites. Doesn't matter who really called for it, because the fact that they called for it at all is stupid, and the fact that they would listen to the actor is also ridiculous. Hardwick, the voice actress for Mulan, is the non-singing scenes was Ming-Wang Wen, who also played Chun-Li in Street Fighter 94 and Agent Melinda May in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Jeremy Swiggs says, before you go, you complete me. No, you complete me. You'll complete me. I love you. Robert Frey, that's a good one. Getting back to the question someone asked about guilty pleasure action film, Expendables. I think that's a good one. Dean Approved, makes me nervous laugh that Lucasfilm has to deal with Gina Carano anti-woke awesomeness. Yeah, it does. Kind of makes me worried. Basically, but here's the thing. If they fire her or severely limit her role in any way that's clear, and she is obviously someone that's not afraid to talk about it, oh yeah, that's going to be a lot of lost views for them, to say the least. Alex says, shout out to Drunk 3PO just because. No, screw Drunk 3PO. Super says, speaking of live-action Jungle Book, who do you think did it better, Disney or Netflix with Mowgli? I liked Mowgli cast better. I have not seen Mowgli yet. I know that was a film done by Andy Serkis, and so I wanted to see it because I love me some Andy Serkis. But I have not actually seen that one myself. Soul Assassin, how about that video of the guy getting Keanu Reeves' character wrong from Bill and Ted? Yeah, so I retweeted that one. It's so good. The guy asked him, so what did it feel like getting back into the role as Bill? And then Keanu just doesn't miss a step and says, I played Ted. And then he just calls him out and says, you have just lost all credibility. I'm like, yes, he has. You had one job. Hardwick says that I believe Mulan moment you mentioned does sound like a reference to Spartacus, but could it have been a believe all women reference as well? No, I don't think so, because I'm pretty sensitive to that kind of stuff. I think it was probably more so. It seems like something that they would say, now let's have a nod to Spartacus here. Blake St. Clair says, it's seriously Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal's last name pronounced. Is it really? I don't know where they get Hala from. How does Haal pronounce Hala? Again, I have problems with that. It just doesn't make any sense. Dean Approved. Why are you hating on Drunk 3PO sadness? I love Drunk 3PO. He knows it. It's just fun to hate on him. I guess that's about as far as grifting as I'll go. If that's me, calling out Drunk 3PO as a joke, that's about as far to grifting as I could possibly get. Because I do honestly love Drunk 3PO. But it's just so funny when people are called grifters. It's like, no. The things that I hate, I genuinely hate. The things that I'm critical of, I'm going to be critical of anyway. I don't really see how that makes me a grifter. Captain Mr. Roy, thank you very much for the 5 ice cream donations on DLive. I appreciate it. Super says, Mowgli is okay. It at least tries to be original. Circus got Kate Blanchett to be Kaa and Christian Bale as Bagheera. Great cast. Great voice cast. Do love me some Andy Serkis. So let me go ahead and shout out some people real quick. Let me shout out my YouTube members who are at the $5 and up level, the people that are on the Army of Asgard. Army of Asgard. And now I feel like All right, anyway. So shout out to my Army of Asgard Keeper the Bifrost members: Bruce, Andrew Hoyle, Sushi Joe, Eric K, Orange at Reviews, Adam Avery, Latino Slant, The Bosco 2000, Twirly Wolf, Jay Stowe, and Aiden Vickery. You are freaking awesome and amazing. Someone says, he ain't no holla back Jake. He ain't no holla back Jake. He ain't no holla back Jake. Few Jakes have been around that track. Oh, kill me now. Blake says, I want to say it was on Letterman, Craig Ferguson, or Conan Gyllenhaal kind of sings his name and the inflection up at the end with holla. That's why I think part of it, part of me thinks maybe like the first part's real and then he stresses holla. Holla, holla. Holla, 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 holla. Captain Dean Heiss over on D-Lab, thank you for the ice cream donations. And ZK Man, thank you for the lemon donation as well. I appreciate it. All right, well, that is going to be it for me tonight. Thank you so very much for being here. Make sure you smash the like button on the way out. Still 43 people watching. Much more than I would have expected with all the crazy stuff going on here. As Jeremy Swigg says, both Maggie and Jake Gyllenhaal had characters screwed over by Heath Ledger. Well, again, not screwed over by Heath Ledger, right? Heath Ledger didn't control, his death. So, they got screwed by the circumstances of the movie that was left over by it. But also, at the end of the day, Nolan could have written a better script. I know that his plans were destroyed by the death, but come on. He could have done better. So if anyone screwed anyone, it was Nolan there. Super. Have a good night, Forever Sci-Fi. Have a good night, 70B and Tina. Shout out to the Valks, 70B and Tina, for doing a great job once again. Jeremy Swigg says, no, screwed. Well, you're the one that came in at the very end, so I still got to your comment. But anyway, thank you so very much for being here this evening. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Check your cookie count on the way out. Nolan screwed hard. Daniel Thor, thank you for the ice cream and lemon donations on D-Lab. D-Lab fam, y'all stick around. I'm going to take care of y'all like I normally do. For everyone else, you are awesome. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Smash the like button, please. Also remember, Disney works with commies. Disney supported at the end of their movie a commie-run group that is in charge of and associated with concentration camps in China. And don't let them forget it either. So you guys are all amazing, beautiful people. If anyone should be going to confession for their sins, it should be Disney and the commie government. Not to mention, I have Disney Plus, and it's coming out on Disney Plus for free in December anyway. So think of it as me time traveling. So to whoever who said that, yeah, calling you out. Anyway, have a wonderful day, everybody. And as always, God bless. And now a huge shout out to all of my September Patreon and Subscribe Star members: Albertus Magnus, Animation Commentator, Brian P., David Bobrizik, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Ittertrap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Camille, Lady T, Laura the Modern Major General Story, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Outpost Dyer, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B. Thank you very much for being my supporters over on Patreon. And to my Subscribe Star members, stand for John B., Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888-209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebadon G. Adams, and the K-Man. Thank you so very much for being my supporters over on Subscribestar, and a shout out to all of my supporters on both platforms. If you yourself want to get your name shouted out at the end of every single video and live stream, please consider joining on Patreon or Subscribestar. You can also get access to exclusive giveaways, to an exclusive podcast that I do twice a month with my friend John the Flick Pig Flickinger, where we talk about just random stuff going on in the movies, our reviews, and also we take Q&A questions from everyone as well in those categories. So if you would like to have any of those things or access to them, or even the biggest of them all, to be one of my chosen of Valhalla and get a t-shirt during your first month, and also have access to be featured on the channel once a month on the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, please consider checking that out in the links in the description below. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.